What's up everybody, my name's Fall from Grace, and in this video today, I'm here to show you a comparison between the Google Pixel 6 Pro and the newly released Pixel 6a. Now before we jump into it, just letting you know, both of these phones have been sent to me from Google so I can make this video. But with that being said, let's jump into it. Firstly, let's have a chat about pricing because obviously this is a major factor when people are going to be investing in a device like this. The Pixel 6 Pro will set you back 1,299 Australian dollars, whereas the Pixel 6a, which has just come out, is 749 Australian dollars. Now this is for the same storage size at 128 gigabytes. The Pixel 6 Pro does come in a couple of different options, but we'll talk about that later. So obviously this is a significant difference. So we're going to talk about why in this video and what kind of functionality that may be lacking in the 6a compared to that of the Pro. The Pixel 6a is a smaller device weighing in at 178 grams compared to 210 of the Pro. For me personally, I do prefer the size of the 6a. It fits a little bit nicer in my hands compared to the 6 Pro, which does feel pretty massive. The Pixel 6a has a flat display measuring 6.1 inches and offering full HD res at 2400 by 1080 at 60 Hz. And this is where the Pro really does shine. The Pixel 6 Pro has a curved 6.7-inch display, which offers 3120 by 1440 with a variable refresh rate up to 120 Hz. My fellow PC gamers out there will definitely understand the significant difference between 60 and 120 Hz, especially when it comes to gaming. One major difference to note about the displays is that the Pixel 6 Pro has Gorilla Glass Victus protection, which is the latest in Gorilla Glass technology, whereas the 6a is equipped with Gorilla Glass 3, which is quite a number of years old. Now that we've spoken about the display, let's move on to the hardware. One area where there is absolutely no compromise no matter which Pixel phone you decide to go with is the Google Tensor chip. The Google Tensor chips helps make these phones the smartest and fastest Pixel phones to date. This is the first processor designed by Google and it gives you up to 80% more performance than the Pixel 5. So no matter if you go for the Pixel 6 Pro, the Pixel 6 itself, or the 6a, you have that Google Tensor chip and that is the brains of this device. This Tensor chip opens up a world of applications powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning, such as the real-time translation. I absolutely love playing with this app. It is so smart, and I went to Japan when I was 15 and I had this buggy little crappy battery-powered translator, and the difference between that and having a device like this is immense. You're not going to have to worry about reading street signs or communicating to anyone. It's just such a game changer. And obviously that's only one example, but it's absolutely my favorite. So now that you know the type of hardware that's inside this device, you would assume that the battery life is pretty thirsty, right? The battery on these things are nothing to sneeze at. The 6a offers up to 72 hours on extreme battery saver mode, which is insane compared to my iPhone, which is barely lasting a day. And this is where the 6a actually outshines the Pro. The Pro only lasts 48 hours on extreme battery saver mode, which again is more than most devices. However, it does have fast charge, which claims to charge 50% in 30 minutes. Also, while we're on the topic of charging, the Pixel 6 Pro offers support for wireless charging and reverse charging, whereas the Pixel 6a offers neither. Jumping back to what we kind of touched on at the very start of the video, the Pixel 6a only has that one storage option of 128 gigabytes, whereas the Pixel 6 Pro has 128 gig, 256 gig, and 512 gig. The Pixel 6 Pro also has double the memory with 12 gig of RAM. Now let's chat about the cameras. So besides what we've already talked about with the RAM, the storage options, the wireless charging, and all of that goodness, this is where you start to see quite a big difference between these devices and probably understand a little bit more why the price does vary so much. The Pixel 6a has a dual rear camera, whereas the Pixel 6 Pro does have a triple camera. The Pixel 6a has a 12.2 megapixel main camera with a 77-degree field of view and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 144-degree field of view. Now in comparison, the Pixel has that triple rear camera that I mentioned, which has a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 48 megapixel telephoto sensor. This third sensor offers 4 times optical zoom and 20 times digital zoom. This means the Pro is obviously much better if you're going to be taking any long-range shots. However, this is only a major selling point if you are someone that's going to take advantage of that telephoto sensor and taking lots of long-range photos, which obviously isn't for everybody. The front-facing camera on these devices do differ, with the 6A having an 8 megapixel sensor with an 84-degree field of view, whereas the Pro has an 11.1 megapixel sensor with a 94-degree field of view. Both of these devices support recording 4K with their main cameras. However, you will only be able to record 1080p on the front-facing camera with the 6A. And of course, it wouldn't be a Pixel phone without access to all of those wonderful photography features like Magic Eraser, Face Unblur, Portrait Mode, Real Tone, Night Sight, Cinematic Pan, just to name a few. Overall, I think the 6A is a great entry into the lineup of the Pixel devices. Obviously, there are some compromises that we've covered in this video, which I think are fair enough considering it's almost half the price. So there is a little compromise with the 6A, but looking at the pricing and the fact that this one is almost half of that of the 6 Pro, it doesn't feel like half the device. You're still getting that Google Tensor chip at the core as the brains of the operation, which gives you, access to all of that machine learning and artificial intelligence applications. You've still got all of the photography features, and I just think this is a hell of a device for a fraction of the price. The 6A as well as the 6 Pro, of course, are compatible with 5G, so you'll also have access to the fastest networks on both of these devices. One thing that I didn't mention as well that just kind of came to me is that the Pixel 6A is brand new. It's just been released and it's about 6 months newer than the 6 Pro. So there could be some hidden tech in there that is newer. The tech world moves very quickly, and 6 months in this world is significant. But that is just my opinion on both of these devices, the Pixel 6 Pro versus the Pixel 6A. I'd love to know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much again to Google Australia for sending these devices over and helping facilitate this video. But that is all for the video today. Hopefully I will see you in my next video or in my next Twitch stream. I stream 5 days a week over on Twitch, and I'd love to see you there. Bye.